Okay. So after high school, I went to college at Northwestern University to do a accelerated program um, in biomedical engineering and in medicine. So this is a 7-year program where the first 3 you study engineering, and then the last 4 you go to medical school to get an MD. What inspired me to do so? Um, I think that of all the things that I could do, that the most meaningful thing I could do would be to use science to alleviate suffering and to um, say fuck you to the typical evolutionary circumstances that bound us. So you know, usually we live in a world. Previously we lived in a world where just we lived by survival of the fittest, and if you need glasses, then you're going to get eaten by a lion, and if you get cancer, then too bad. Um, and I think that was just a very barbaric. I think we'll look back and think that was a very barbaric way to just accept life, and I think we'll regret not having applied our brains um, to make that no longer the case sooner. So yeah, I think that using science to alleviate suffering and to explore biology is a beautiful thing to do, and so that's why I did biomedical engineering. And I have to admit, being younger and having Asian parents, I think they were pretty happy with a career path that would lead to some stability and respect as well. Although over time, stability and respect became a lot less important to me as I sort of got to understand, um, you know, uh, the world around me. As it turns out, you know, um, not everybody is as idealistic, and in fact, some people are kind of the opposite of idealistic in the sense that their preferred state of the world is actually the status quo. A lot of times because they have a lot to gain from the world staying the way it is. So generally, it's sort of, you don't know everything up front, and so generally the 3 things that you use to course adjust throughout my journey, at least, was what thing do you think is possible for you to do within the time frame that's you're comfortable with? What things do you enjoy doing or are interested in? And what things will people give you resources to do, such as money? And whatever happens at the intersection of those 3 things, if that's not exactly the thing you're doing right now, maybe it's a good idea to course correct and go and do that thing. So the thing I decided to transfer over to doing is so after medical school, I did a residency in ophthalmology. I did an internship in internal medicine, and then decided to work part time as an ophthalmologist and do a master's in bioinformatics at Stanford. Um, this was kind of a way for me to mix my medical knowledge with um, the opportunity to just learn as much machine learning as I could, because um, you know, in the 2010s, um, this field called machine learning really started taking over the world. Um, well, at least getting a lot of hype and a lot of interest and a lot of funding. Um, a lot of people are polarized between those that believe that there's something in here to help us with answering the sort of uh, generations and question of what is intelligence, and then a lot of people just think it's a useful tool that can make a lot of money and do some good for the world. Um, I think I'm somewhere in the middle, and so it's an extremely interesting field, and decided to go into that field and study a lot of math and computer science, statistics, and afterwards was thinking should either start my own company or join a scrappy startup to try and change the world, as they say. So I joined a company called Decina that does machine learning and deploys algorithms in hospitals to help um, predict health outcomes earlier to give doctors more time to react and decide on best treatment, and also to help decide on what the best treatment should be. Um, and it's been and this is currently where I am, and the career transition has been fruitful so far. So far, so good. It was a risky move to make, and uh, required a lot of suffering to make the transition. Um, but I'm glad I did it.